Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to talk about Fellowship, which is a game that has just been announced. We're literally talking something like yesterday max that's just been announced. So if you think, let's think, World of Warcraft dungeons. Imagine a game that is only made from dungeons. Just a dungeon game. You log in, you find your friends, you play with your friends, and you just do dungeons. Endless grind of dungeons. Yes. I think you're excited as I am. And before we start delving into the game itself and see what the game has and so on, we should definitely watch the trailer together because this trailer has something very interesting to see. And it's actually quite a long one, it's 5 minutes. So let's jump over to the trailer and see what it has to, show us. So let's do it. As you can see, the graphic style is quite nice. It's cartoonish. It has plenty of colors. There's a lot of other games that I can think of that has kind of the same theme, but already now the graphics, nice. This is the heroes in the game. So you don't have a class in the game, you pick heroes. So you pick like a lot of different heroes in the game. So you can be a tank, a damage dealer, or healer. And then of course they're going to add more tank healers and damage dealers probably over time. But yeah, let's continue.
We're very excited to finally get to show Fellowship to the world.
So this is Axel Lindberg, which is the game director and the CEO, as you can of course also see on the screen.
A game that we've been working on for a long time. A few years ago, we founded Chief Rebel, an independent studio located in Stockholm, Sweden. We've put together an incredible experienced team that have worked on games like Diablo, the Just Cause series, Battlefield, Helldivers, The Division, World of Warcraft, and a bunch of other huge titles over the years.
So we know the company, basically, all the people in the company have been working for a lot of different games, the big games, and I think when they say we found this independent company, it's because the publishers behind the game, I guess the big guys you can say is Arc Games, which has other games like, for example, Remnant 2, Star Trek Online, Remnant, Neverwinter, Have a Nice Death, Torchlight 2 and 3. You know, you get Gigantic Rampage Edition, Champions Online, different games. So basically, I can imagine, because if you go to the Steam page, you can see the game is being developed by Chief Rebel, which is the company they just talked about now, the Swedish company. By the way, which is really nice because I'm from Denmark, so, you know, it's kind of like a neighbor. You know, Denmark and Sweden is just next to each other, kind of like in the Scandinavian cold. So, very nice. It's nice to see some Scandinavian developers. And also, again, the developers are Chief Rebel and the publishers are Games. So, yeah, let's continue.
Here in the studio, we like to call Fellowship a multiplayer online dungeon adventure, a MODA, if you will. It's a game that celebrates our favorite endgame activity, where you will gather a bunch of friends in a group of 4 and go out and do dungeons together.
So if we just go 2 seconds back,
Gather a bunch of friends in a group of 4 and
as you can see here on the screen right now, this is quite interesting because this game, I'm pretty sure later in the game, or if they already just said, I think they just said it, they're basically saying they're inspired by games like World of Warcraft, but they also said Helldivers 2, which is super cool because you can actually see now they're standing around this table here, and I think this is kind of going to be the lobby. So imagine you log in, you stand at this lobby place here, and then you invite your friends over, they come into your lobby, and then you kind of like select your mission you want to go on, kind of like, you know, like Helldivers where you have like a mission map, but it's the same here where you have the mission map and you kind of like, do we want to go to the elves, the orcs, where do we want to go to do dungeons, which is quite interesting. I like this. It's a nice mix of like so many games I like.
Go out and do dungeons together. And these dungeons are going to be full of enemies with their own unique abilities and tricks and strategies that you need to figure out. And of course, bosses providing their own unique challenges that you will need to work together with your team to overcome. And when you do, there's loot to be had.
Loot.
With Fellowship, we are taking inspiration from a number of types of games that we love. So there's a bit of action RPG in here.
So the thing is, like, as he just mentioned that the game has action RPG in it, but as you can see right now, look at the screen right now. We got in the top left corner, we got some buffs, some debuffs, probably. It could be either buff or debuffs. It could also be like a timer saying, hey, in 1.2 seconds, he's going to use the spell called Volatile Ice. So basically, imagine in World of Warcraft when you have add-ons like Deadly Boss Mod where it tells you when the next thing is going to happen. That's kind of like it. Look at the bottom. We have the same interface there. You have the character's head, you have the health bar, you have the target. It's kind of the same interface they use in the modern retail World of Warcraft. When you start up the game for the first time, it has the character portraits down there. It even has the party frame with the party, like you can see the tank, the 2 damage dealers, and the healer. And it even has the action bars. And if you come with a comment like, "Oh, they're just ripping off, every MMO," you can't say that, because if you go back into history and look at all the MMOs back at the time, they all look pretty much like this. You have World of Warcraft, Lord of Things Online, even the games before that, before I played games. My first MMO was World of Warcraft because, yeah, I was from that time when it fitted, with my age. I was about to say I'm not that old, but I am actually. But you know what I mean. But still, all the games that World of Warcraft had kind of the same thing, where you had like health bars, you have action bars, and I was actually thinking the game would be more like Wayfinder, if you know what I mean, where you don't really care about healer tanks, but you just play like in Guild Wars 2, where you just play whatever you want, and you just have to avoid standing in fire. But it seems like they're actually taking the WoW experience and putting it into a game where it's just about dungeons. And I'm just saying, look at this. It looks super cool. I could definitely dig into this.
There's a bit of MOBA, and there's a bit of MMO as well. You can jump into the endgame content straight away, and you don't have to spend hours and hours grinding just to get to the...
Look at that. Look at that. The way he targeted the ground for using AoE. I mean, if you showed me this and you said, hey, have you seen the trailer for World of Warcraft 2? I would have believed you. I would literally have believed you that this was World of Warcraft 2. No kidding. Let's just go back so I can hear again what he said.
Endgame content straight away, and you don't have to spend hours and hours grinding just to get to the fun stuff. When you first log in, you will pick your hero, join up with your friends or find a group, and queue into a dungeon.
Okay, yeah. Let's just take a second back here. So basically...
You don't have to spend hours and hours grinding just to get to the fun stuff. When you first log in...
Yeah, so you can actually go directly to the end game, the fun part of the game, ASAP. You don't have to like wait till like late in the game or something like that. As we can see right now on the screen, we have the tank, the damage dealers, and the healers. And I can imagine, the row stuff for this is going to expand big, like big time. Because the thing is, like, when you make a game where you have classes, you can't just like add new classes. Like, look at World of Warcraft, they add a new class every decade or something like that. It's like there's a long time between classes in that game. But this game could easily add new champions, new heroes, like every month, every third month, like something like that, because you just give them a set of abilities, you boom, 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 you know what I mean? Like, it's not like you're going to change like a huge class like in WoW, where it's very much big impact. So I think, like, just like League of Legends and games like that, we're going to be seeing way more heroes coming into this game more often. And I see a lot of people talking bad about this design, that they're basically going with the heroes. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's interesting, and it allows you still to come with more heroes over time. There will always come a new hero that probably is more suited for you, and so on. But looking at these pictures, it's quite interesting. Like, we have this standard warrior tank here.
You will
This is definitely like a brewmaster tank, like a monk tank.
pick your hero,
The frost mage,
join up with your friends or...
and the priest healer. And next to the priest healer, I think that's like a druid. We have seen it in the trailer. Maybe we're going to see it later. It's like a druid. She looks like a druid, but she also has a foxtail. So, and the other guys up at the DPS row, I'm very interested in seeing who they are. Like, who are they? And I really hope one of them is going to have a huge two-hand sword. Like, I love two-hand swords, so if they have any champion hero with a two-hand sword, sign me up. Let's continue.
find a group and queue into a dungeon. As you level up, you'll also unlock new talents, set bonuses, and relics that provide new facets and depth to your chosen hero. As you complete dungeons, you gain access to higher difficulties. As the difficulty increases, the enemies become a lot harder.
See that there we have the druid in the background. She even has like roots coming off of the ground that probably, it looks like they're casting, like throwing spells or something like that.
And the rewards you receive become more powerful. The core of Fellowship is this end game.
Yeah, like the druid again there. We have a fire mage over there. She's the one we were looking at is playing like a frost mage, and then we have the tank over there tanking.
MMO style dungeon.
Oh, that's the brewmaster tank actually tanking. She even has the same stance as brewmaster tanks.
The core of
Kinda like, you know, she's more like, you know, like that, where the brewmaster tank in WoW is more like, you know, tiger attack. She's more like, you know, let's fight. Cool, I like that.
Fellowship is this endgame MMO-style dungeon experience. You can jump straight from dungeon to dungeon, and you will get all the progression.
Oh, then we have the druid, and we have the spells at the bottom. Don't know what the spells do, but looks pretty cool.
Rewards, and everything that you need from within that content. There are two types of dungeons that players will take on. Adventure and Ranked.
Adventure and Ranked. Okay, Adventure definitely sounds like something you just have fun with, and Ranked we all know, where it keeps getting stronger, it keeps getting more hard, and oh god, please have a leaderboard. Please have some kind of leaderboard so I can keep grinding and try push that leaderboard. That's the biggest error or fail that Diablo 4 they did. They first had a leaderboard in what, like, was it like season 3? Like almost a year after the game released, which was like, wow, so bad. So I really hope if this game is going to have ranked, you better have a leaderboard. And if your leaderboard is both in the game and both on your website, so you can like check the leaderboard while at work or while, you know, I was about to say driving, don't check your phone while driving, but you know what I mean, like, you know, when you're just like in World of Warcraft, you can just open up their Mori and you can see, hey, what's my ranking right now? Has anyone like beaten me? Very cool. So I really hope they're gonna do something like that, since that's very big in World of Warcraft.
Adventure dungeons are doing everything we know and love from our ranked dungeon format, but we want to take that experience and distill it down to 10 to 15 minute bite-sized experiences.
Okay.
Ranked dungeons is what this genre offers best. This is our opportunity to
Breton Hamilton, design director.
provide a core experience to our seasoned veterans of this genre, to compete against each other on our leaderboards, to overcome impossible
There you go. Sorry for that.
odds with their friends, and to really make their mark on the community. The greatest rewards in Fellowship come to the players who are willing to opt in to the most challenging content. That means specifically choosing to, with your party, take on multiple dungeon modifiers at a time. In addition to the standard scaling of our dungeons, we also want to make sure that there are these added layers that don't just change the numbers of, oh, I need to hit him with a bigger stick. Now, I need to move out of the way as a giant fireball rains from the sky. Or now freezing winds are blowing everybody off towards the edge of the map, things that change gameplay.
Yeah.
When players enter a dungeon, they've got 3 goals to keep in mind. 1, they gotta kill all the bosses. Then, they have to make sure that the kill score is absolutely filled by killing enough of the enemies in the dungeon. And then lastly, they need to make sure that we're doing all of that in the allotted time. So for our ranked dungeons, that's about 30 minutes. And for our adventure dungeons, we're looking at 10 minutes.
Okay, so the ranked dungeons or whatever that sounds very much like the mythic dungeons in World of Warcraft, where you need to both have killed enough mobs, and you also need to, of course, probably do it on a timer, and then, of course, kill a boss. I see.
The enemies in Fellowship are challenging, and that means that players are going to have to rely on the Holy Trinity, tank, healer, and DPS in order to overcome these challenges. Each role is necessary to succeed, with each having a distinct role to play.
So when we created our roster of heroes, it was really important that each hero feels unique to Fellowship, while still being recognizable for people that have played thousands of hours in similar games. So we've got this one hero called Rhyme, and she's got this very bursty and procky rhythm to her gameplay. She's not very cooldown reliant at all. Instead, she has a very steady build up to constant payoffs that will feel really explosive and flashy. With War Master, you've got a tank that should feel like home, and it's super easy to pick up. She also has a toughness mechanic where more advanced players will be able to min-max their damage mitigation and cooldown reduction.
Nice.
Fellowship is going to be a constantly evolving adventure that will be built to last for a
Community
really long
director,
time, and we're
Hamish
so
Boot.
excited to have the players be part of that development journey with us.
It's going to be my friend, community manager director. Hook me up.
We've got heaps of content planned for Fellowship, and there's going to be a lot more to talk about really, really soon. But to start your adventure with Fellowship, make sure to sign up for our closed alpha, starting really soon.
Nice. Nice. I must admit, I am very impressed. I was just sitting and thinking, like yesterday, I was just like talking with a friend, and we were like, there has to come some new game soon that just like, you know, comes out of the blue that no one talks about. And it just has to be like amazing, some kind of like new format, something new. And then this game just drops down. It's like, did you hear my prayer or something like that? So, very, very, very impressed by the trailer, and the team seems very dedicated to the game. I love that, and I'm hyped. I'm really hyped. And the best thing is, like, the alpha is just around the corner. So go to playfellowship.com and you can now sign up for the alpha. You literally just have to like put in your email and answer which kind of game you play usually, and that's pretty much it. Then you have to have a chance to get in. So as it says here, Fellowship, a multiplayer online dungeon adventure, MODA, kind of fun, you know, not a MOBA, but a MODA, with loot, heroes, and endlessly scaling difficulty that rewards player skill, team coordination, and strategy. So I just want to say, I really hope this game is not going to end up as another Wayfinder, where they really start up open and say this game has MMO elements and we have this big lobby with people and boom, 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 boom. And then the publisher, they just like leave them after release, kind of weird. And suddenly they remove all the MMO elements to the game and make it a non-MMO. And yeah, you know, that's just weird. So I really hope this game is going to stick with what they're doing now and go all the way, if you know what I mean. So yeah, a multiplayer online dungeon adventure set in an exciting fantasy setting with endlessly scaling dungeon runs. Player must focus on working together as a team with an emphasis on skills, cooperation, and strategy to defeat bosses, collect loot, and work together to overcome present challenges. The Holy Trinity, tank, healer, and damage dealers. I like this. I like that. Experience the Holy Trinity and build the ultimate team of tanks, healers, and damage dealers to take down hordes of enemies and the imposing bosses. Work together with your friends to overcome the greatest challenges, creating unbreakable bonds and memorable moments. Players can also flex their individual skills on the competitive leaderboard that shows where you stand in Fellowship. Oh my god, yes. We are going to get leaderboards, which is so good. Thank you for that, and thank you for not being another game where the leaderboards are coming way too late. So thank you for that. That is very, very important for me. Preserve, overcome, and ascend through the top ranks in Fellowship. You can trust me. I will find the 3 best teammates I can imagine, and I will have the best Fellowship coming. You know, you have my axe, you have my sword, and you have my bow. Yeah, I know. I'm starting to get cringy. By the way, you can join the Discord if you want, and you know, chat with people in there, see the developers, see if they sometimes respond. I don't know. I'm just joined it, so I don't know actually how active the devs are in there. Again, they just announced the game. I mean, it's pretty new for them, so let's see. Gather your perfect team. Explore fantasy world. Team up for epic battles. Play alongside your friends in teams with 4-player co-op multiplayer in a rich fantasy world full of challenging enemies and exciting rewards. Swap between a large pool of tank, healer, and DPS roles with unique kits to build the perfect balance for your team. So there's something I'm thinking. The first thing I'm thinking right now is, okay, what if you're a player who doesn't have a dozens of friends? Maybe you only have one friend you play games with, or two friends, or maybe you don't have any game friends to play with because all your friends, they like to watch football and drink beer or something like that. And you're like, hey, I don't have any friends to play this awesome game with. What do I do? I really hope they're gonna have something automatic matchmaking for this game. If they have something browsing system where I need to say, hey, I want to be in a group, I am a DPS, forget it. No. We need something awesome where I'm just like, I'm a DPS, I need a group, click join, and it's gonna find a group for either the R adventure mode or the rank mode, whatever I pick. And it's gonna fill in the group with whatever we need in the group. An automatic dungeon finder. And the old school MMO people, they're gonna say, no, don't do that. It's gonna destroy the MMO element of the game. Well, it's not an MMO. It's not an MMO. So no, it's not going to destroy anything. If you play a game like this, just like Call of Duty, Fortnite, games like these where you log in and you just have fun the moment, not like MMOs where you need to grind, then have fun. This game is where you log in, have fun. Then it also needs a system that can back it up and also give you the experience from the second you go in. And I'm like, hey, I want to play with some random people now. Boom, I'm in a group now. Nice. It's probably going to have the same problem as every other MMO game, dungeon game, where it's going to have 100 DPS, a few healers, and almost no tanks. I bet you. It's going to have the same problem, but hopefully maybe they can make the tanks fun enough so people actually want to play tanks. I'm probably going to go tank. I love tanking, and I'm a community leader in my own community. I'm a guild master, so I like to play tanks. I like to be the guy who runs in the front and be like, we have to go this way, follow me, my adventures, something like that. So okay, that was enough. Endlessly scaling replayability. Dungeon level up as you progress for fresh challenges. Everyone feel like a brand new challenge with dungeons that will get more difficult as player progress and level up. Players will never out-level the game with seasonal updates, dungeon modifiers, new features, and rewards that will keep each run fresh and exciting, adding another layer of replayability. I really hope the gear in this game... It depends. I like when you get gear in a game that it also changes your appearance. I remember from Terrace Land, like every time you did a dungeon, every time you got a new piece of item, you were like, wow, yeah, my stats is better, but my appearance didn't change, so I don't feel like getting something from it. I know that if I open up my character profile, it gives me better stats, I'm stronger, but it doesn't change my helmet, it doesn't change my sword, it doesn't do anything visualized. So I really hope they're gonna have something visualized with the gear here. If they don't have, at least have a lot of skins in the game so we can look a bit different. I would hate that everyone plays the same class. I would hate if every time I get into a group and the dwarf priest, he always looks the same. I would hate that. He needs to have, every time I get this priest dwarf, he needs to look a bit different. He needs to have some love, some uniqueness. I don't want the same template character joining my group every time. He needs to have some kind of a bit different, some color changes, some armor changes, something. Yeah, just saying. So here's a picture of probably a dungeon, another dungeon, and another dungeon. I really hope we're gonna get a dungeon like Scarlet the Monastery from World of Warcraft. That is still my favorite dungeon today. I love this castle themed holy knights themed dungeons. Love it. I'm not saying it's a requirement for the game, but I would love something like that. Complex boss mechanics in intricate mechanics that test your strategy and ability. Each boss has unique and varied mechanics for fresh experience every run. Enemy skill grows as difficulty increases, and additional modifiers continue to challenge players as they grow and improve. Cool. You can find them on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, X, YouTube, and Discord. Beside of this, we also have the the Twitch profile, which I highly recommend going in now and click follow and wishlist. It's going to help the developers, so if you want to support them, you should definitely go in and follow and put it on the wishlist. They of course also have news in here where we can like see different news, and also they have like the text down here, but I'm pretty sure all the text they have down here is exactly the same, we just read. So again, I just want to say I was kind of done making videos about where I talk about new games when they announced new trailers. I've done that way too much, but this game here, see, when I played World of Warcraft Season of Discovery when it released recently, not that far away, and I remember we running it like a dungeon group to Shadowfang Keeps. I loved it. Like I loved the way we had to like run down to the dungeon. We were this group of people and we just had to do the dungeon. Like, you know, I just loved the feeling. I know this game is not gonna have that feeling where you have to run all the way down to the dungeon. We're gonna meet at this Helldivers board, and then we're gonna like jump down there on the dungeon. But still, it's gonna have this fellowship, Lord of the Rings fellowship feeling that, you know, you have my axe, you have my bow, stuff like that. So I am way too excited for this game, as you probably can hear. I am not sponsored or anything like that by these developers. I am just overly hyped for this game. So I really hope they're gonna let me into the alpha. It's probably gonna have NDA, so even if I get in, I could probably not show gameplay, but I would love to get my hands on this. But yeah. So thanks for watching, thank you for being here. It's a long time since I made a video and I'm kind of back, so yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks to Chief Rebel for announcing this amazing game, and I'm so excited to get into it. Peace out, have a good day, and bye.